Hello, everyone. Welcome to the webinar titled Spatial Experiences of Tomorrow, organized by the Department of Architecture at the University of Nicosia. My name is Marcela Menicu. I'm an associate professor and the head of the department. Joining me today, we have four more professors in the department and we'll follow with a series of presentations. Let me introduce you to Angela Kyriakou-Petru, assistant professor and the associate head of the department. Then we proceed with Yorgos Hagikristou, professor. Next, we'll have Michalis Georgiou, assistant professor, and last but not least, Dr. Kika Ioannou Kazamia, associate professor. So we'll start with the presentation. The purpose of this webinar is to introduce the creative professions of the built environment and hopefully to provide an insight into the exciting worlds of architecture and interior design. Of course, we would prefer to be welcoming you face-to-face, and we hope that very soon you will be able to visit our premises. I will start by a short introduction about our department, and then I will focus on the architecture program. My colleague, Kika Ioannou Kazamia, will then present the interior design program in detail. At this point, I would like to mention that if you have any questions during our presentation, you could post them on the live chat, and at the end, we'll dedicate some time to respond. So, our department was established back in 2006, offering the 5-year professional diploma in architecture, which also provides for a 4-year intermediate Bachelor of Arts degree. The Bachelor of Arts in Interior Design has been running since 2002. Our department is continuously developing and expanding. Therefore, our new distance learning MSc program in computational design and digital fabrication, in collaboration with the University of Innsbruck in Austria, runs from fall 2019. English is the official language of instruction. However, Greek support in the early years of study is provided in all the undergraduate programs. I forgot to mention that all the images that you see on screen are in fact from work produced in our department. The 5-year professional diploma, it's recognized by the Cyprus Scientific and Technical Chamber, ETEC, and the European Commission. Therefore, our graduates are professionally certified and allowed to work anywhere in Europe. We have 12 full-time faculty in our department with a lot of local and international distinctions. Our faculty members have studied, taught, and practiced and lived in various countries around the world. So they do enhance the multicultural character of our department. We do believe that it's very important for our academics to also be professional architects, as this enables a constructive dialogue, a constant dialogue between academia and practice. The department also has a pool of about 20 part-time faculty members. And I just wanted to mention that in core subjects like design studio, 12 students are allocated to 1 teaching faculty. This ratio is important because it affords a truly personalized education and ensures the high quality of the program. The department has been housed in its own purpose-built premises since 2010. You see on screen our building, the Architecture Research Center building, otherwise called ARC. The building was an old shoe factory that has been refurbished in an industrial style. The ARC building serves as a cultural hub, hosting many activities, lectures, events, and exhibitions. It has also won various international distinctions, and it has an intelligently flexible and dynamic space. Our colleague, Yorgos Hagikristou, is the architect of the building. In our building, we have cutting-edge computing, model making, and fabrication labs. My colleague Michalis will introduce our labs in the area of digital technology in general in a while. Students have their own personal working space, and they also have 24-hour access to the building. I will now very briefly introduce the architecture program structure. The architectural design studio, in fact, is the central core of the curriculum. It is supported by 4 other thematic areas: technology, which deals with construction, structures, and environment; history and theory, which deals with the sociocultural context; communication, that essentially develops skills and techniques of representation and communication of work produced. And lastly, management and practice, where aspects dealing with the profession of an architect are introduced, like site experience, contractual issues, procurement, and project management. Within the architecture program, students are also expected to complete some practical experience in an office under an approved mentor. Of course, we do have some elective courses as well to ensure that students receive a well-rounded academic base that will enhance both the personal and professional development. The first 3 years of study provide a basic grounding in architectural education, and the 4th and 5th year of advanced studies consolidate the learning experience. My colleague Angela will discuss the culture of design studio shortly. In the 4th and 5th year of study, the design studio is taught in units. Units are small research groups with various thematic orientations. This is a very successful pedagogic model used in other prestigious universities. And in fact, we are the only school in the region that follows this system. Therefore, our graduates have a very unique identity. We also organize a plethora of extracurricular events like workshops, exhibitions, lectures, and conferences. We also organize field trips and collaborations with other international universities. Our department has an increasingly international outlook and actively collaborates with various international institutions and associations around the world. My colleague Yorgos will elaborate on this in his presentation. Each academic year culminates with the end-of-year exhibition, showcasing student work. The exhibition has grown into our most important event, visited by the architectural community in Cyprus. It is an opportunity for prospective employers to find future employees, but most importantly, it is an opportunity for friends and family to see and celebrate student work. Over the last several years, our students and faculty have won over 30 international awards in architecture competitions. On screen, you see a few samples of these distinctions. These successes are a massive achievement for us, as in most of these competitions, we were competing against some of the most prestigious architecture schools and professional practices internationally. We are particularly proud of these distinctions, and we do believe that the very personalized teaching approach and our international outlook have been catalytic towards the successes of our students. Additionally, teaching in units has been a huge driver towards these awards. Now, a few words about the career prospects of a graduate. Well, the career prospects of a graduate student from our department are many. They can work in the local market, they can work in Europe and internationally, or they can pursue further studies. At this point, I would like to emphasize that a degree in architecture enables graduates to work in a wide range of professions, and not necessarily practice as professional architects. For example, they could work in 3D visualization, digital technologies and fabrication, material research, academic research, art, environmental consultancy. They could become project managers, technical consultants, site engineers, and many, many more. Already, a lot of our graduates have been employed by very prestigious international architectural practices like OMA in New York and Powerhouse Architects in the Netherlands. Some have continued their postgraduate studies in Cyprus and renowned universities abroad, and some of them have also pursued an academic career. On screen, you can see some testimonials from research graduates. Now, I'll proceed with a few words about architecture as a profession. Architectural practice occurs in different scales and actions within the built environment. There are some basic categories under which you may focus as a professional architect, and these include dealing with the building scale. You could be dealing with the urban scale, planning, and infrastructural scale. You could be working with digital design and fabrication. You could be sort of specializing in bioclimatic design. You could be researching socially engaged and community design. And you could be dealing with interior architecture and the furniture scale. So we could really summarize by defining architecture as the profession where you design and implement a wide range of infrastructural projects within the built environment, from the city scale down to the more intimate scale of furniture and everyday objects. Therefore, architects collaborate with and often lead a team of other built environment professionals. And of course, our students are being prepared to take on that role. An architect has the skills and knowledge to deliver a project from its inception to its final completion. However, an architect may choose to specialize in one aspect of the process. For example, they could become mainly a design architect, a construction detailing architect, a supervising architect, etc. I would also like to state at this point that for all of us, architecture is not just a profession. It is rather a continuous quest for self-development, knowledge, and creativity. It is a way of thinking, it's a way of life. So, in conclusion, I would like to return to our webinar title, Spatial Experiences of Tomorrow. Architecture is always in dialogue with the future. We design something that will inevitably be constructed in the near future, and it will be used and experienced by future generations. Our department focuses on preparing students for the ever-changing future. A lot of design studios are set up as research laboratories and think tanks that pursue innovative ideas about the future of inhabitation, of the city, of infrastructure. Our students develop very unique skills and thinking processes that allow them to truly design for tomorrow and propose intelligent, environmental, technological, and spatial solutions for the societies of the future. And of course, the social and physical environment now has more challenges ahead than ever before. So engaging with the future becomes a priority. Finally, on screen, you can see our department brochure that includes a summary of important information about our programs of study. Of course, we could forward it to anyone interested. We will now proceed with a presentation by Angela Kyriakou-Petru. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Angela Kyriakou-Petru. I'm Assistant Professor at the Department of Architecture. I'll be talking to you about the Architectural Design Studio and introducing studio culture, and then going on to look a little bit more at studio thematics and student work. Okay. So the studio, is the place where students research, test, develop, and present design proposals from a wide range of sources. The studio class involves a number of different teaching methods, presentations and group meetings, discussing ideas and lesson topics, tutorial meetings and desk crits, individual and group work, where students develop their work through research, drawing, model making, group activities or discussions, and studio presentations and reviews. Architectural design includes a synthesis of subjects. Knowledge of history, theory, technology influences the way ideas are translated and emphasized, expressed through student projects. By introducing year one, it gives us an overall understanding of the process of design. Generally, it's applied to all years of the design studios. Architectural design is taught through a series of small projects or assignments, which forms an iterative process, a production of drawing, sketching, and diagramming, and making. It's a process of exploration. New ideas are discovered, acting as a basis for conceptualizing thoughts related to architectural space and discovering opportunities which lead to the production of design projects. Students are encouraged to work with a wide range of scales and media and think about representation in parallel to design development. Work ranges from sketching, diagramming, drawing, models, material studies, to one-to-one installations. The focus of the architectural design class is to create design ideas and translate them into architectural space, material, forms, and program. This experimental research process enables students to understand the characteristics and properties and architectural qualities of space, thus exploring and formulating a unique architectural language. The research and teaching method encourages critical observation, critical research, and critical thinking, and helps to develop students' intuitive thinking. The process of production and re-examination and analysis leads to the production of innovative spatial, structural, architectural solutions. So, Year 2 investigates the architectural implications of site and context. Project work looks at the elements and principles of site analysis, researching and measuring the environment, physical, urban, and contextual activities. A process of mapping is introduced to the studio, acting as both an important skill of accurately recording site context and activities, but also initiating a closer association with the site. The site is investigated and experienced through observation, use, and movement, pacing out and measuring the site through the body scale and rhythm. Consequently, the site is understood through its spatial characteristics, users, activities, and topographic features, which act as the premise for how it's mapped and recorded. Building up a three-dimensional understanding of the site through topographic levels and users, students explore spatial sequences and architectural forms that reflect the qualities they have discovered. Programmatic ideas are explored, reviewing the needs and prospects of new activities. Spatial explorations are carried out through models and model making and drawing. In the spring semester, design projects focus on material knowledge and research, as well as a more complex understanding of site, focusing on cultural and social issues. Projects identify with the cultural context of places and communities in the chosen area. Students develop the ability to read and record the site through particular architectural elements, spaces, and characteristics which have developed through the cultural and social conditions of the site. Project design focuses on synthesizing program, architectural form, and structure, with a focus on the use of materials and atmospheric qualities of space. Students are expected to develop and demonstrate developed competencies of architectural design. This is reflected through more complex synthesis of site, users, social conditions, and how they can be addressed through architectural language. Individual research is encouraged, developing the student's own approach to their area of interest. This could involve experimentation with structure, material research, or a focus on theoretical or cultural issues. Year 3 fall semester focuses on urban design. Students develop a critical understanding of the urban context, exploring and observing neglected and dysfunctional sites. Group work comprises part of the early phases of studio, generating valuable background research. Students gather, analyze, and organize information about the sites, investigating characteristics of the city, such as urban blocks, infrastructure, and networks, used and unused in between spaces. Information is shared amongst the whole student group. Through field visits and site investigations, students make detailed observations of characteristics and functionality of the existing urban infrastructures and spaces, recording levels of connectivity between spaces, examining urban contexts, and building typologies. Students develop projects based on identifying the needs of the particular site that is being studied. Projects are developed through organizing and synthesizing architectural landscape and urban elements. Students are expected to work through clear urban strategies, proposing the location and identity of public open space, public buildings, and other programmatic uses such as cultivation areas, parks, sports areas, cultural and educational buildings. The third year spring semester tackles issues of technology. Technology is considered in both a theoretical and conceptual level, as well as on an application and performance level. Technology is considered as an inseparable part of the equation of architecture, actually and conceptually. In parallel to the structural and programmatic configurations, students explore environmental and building service systems, making them one of the driving elements of design from an early stage. A series of in-class workshops on specific themes introduce subjects from on-site logistics to technical resolutions. Collaging these ideas into the programmatic narratives, the project evolves through both primary and peripheral design activities. The studio enables a conscious development of integrated strategies for sustainable environments through building technology innovations. The specific aim is the production of environmental, performance-driven buildings that respond to climate, temporality, and the occupation of buildings, with innovative use of technology and materials. The final years of study, years 4 and 5, change format. They are year-long processes where semester 1 and semester 2 come together. Year 4 and 5 come together. The students are introduced to thematic units, which are offered to the students through choices. We have run a number of units over the past roughly 10 years of providing unit groups. The students choose their unit, which are small independent research groups within the design studio. So each unit provides a research framework through which students investigate various issues. Themes of units are based on staff research, but also include topical research and issues related to social, environmental, cultural, or political issues. Work produced in the units is often independent work of the students, produced within the framework of the unit themes. Thank you, everybody. We go on to hear Yorota Di Cristo.
Hello, everyone. Good evening from me, too. I'm Yorota Di Cristo, architect and professor of the architecture department of the University of Nicosia. I would like to invite you to a short journey, a panel tours, cultural meetings, experimental installations, unique workshops, and spontaneous encounters whose target is an interactive process of architectural studies beyond the limits of conventional courses. Architectural education at our university is distinguished by its social sensitivity and environmental awareness, and enriched and constantly enhanced by experiential rich activities. Collaborations with local organizations and groups of professionals and citizens, as well as with international institutions and countries from around the world, literally open the horizon and shape the critical thinking and creativity of our students. The series of diverse and multifaceted events for the centenary of the Bauhaus School last year, in collaboration with the Goethe Institute, focused on Phibos Polidoridis as architect, as a person. At the moment of the events, Polidoridis was the only surviving modernist architect of Cyprus. The claim of public space and the right to the city were the goals of the project Green Urban Lab of the NGO Urban Guerrillas. The project was created by Veronica Antoniou and Marina Neophytou, in collaboration with the Architecture Department of the University of Nicosia and realized with European funds. The students of our Architecture Department participated in a series of workshops under the guidance of the Urban Guerrillas and the internationally renowned specialists on ephemeral structures, Marco Canevacci and Daniel Mancini. They discussed and co-created the ideas The immediate implementation of their ideas in the cities of Cyprus, interwoven and embedded with respect for tradition and society as a whole, fueled and charged creative thinking in the future direction of architecture and urban planning, which is nothing more than a human-centered environment. At the same time, the Summer Student Workshop of the Cyprus Architects Association, with the participation of the Mediterranean Association of Architects, UMAR, the Japanese architect Toshifumi Simon, specialist in the Japanese traditional timber construction, run by faculty of our department, took place in Panoplatres during a period of 2 cool weeks in the summer. The students, a versatile group of both local and international members, went through one's life experience and gained condensed knowledge while leaving behind, or if you like, adding creative moments and traces to the rich tradition and nature of the summer resort. Everlasting enthusiasm, unexpectedly pleasant methods that creatively subvert the conventional educational methods, exceptional innovation were the ingredients of the summer student workshop at the University of Venice. Our first year students worked equally well with local students of more advanced years to raise voices of resistance, positively and creatively responding against the destruction of the environment and the cities. The subversion began in their immediate space, the festive sabotage of the otherwise strict traditional classroom setup. This led to equally radical and imaginative proposals with social and environmental sensitivities, such as the rights of Venetian residents and not just of the tourists, the often ignored rights of the children to the city, the welcoming back of the extinct animal world and its cohabitation with humans. Faculty and students of the University of Nicosia undertook the creation of our state pavilion at the most important architectural exhibition in the world, the Venice Architecture Biennale. The Where You Are project has embraced social groups, NGOs, artists, and Cypriot architects. It also invited students from the University of Venice to participate in the setup. The Where You Are is a synergy, if you wish, a co-creation that facilitates the emergence of multiple identities and diversity. Multiple levels, depths, and fragments orchestrate the perception of the importance of the individual person as a centripetal reference to all forms of spatial creations. As in the Venice Biennale, so in the Triennale of Milan, the main component of the installations of the state pavilions were student works. The project Human Topographies, Emerging Identities is a shadow theater, the participation of the visitor, in other words, of each citizen, is important in shaping our built and natural environments. A new magical world, unique in every aspect, emerges from the play of shadows and merges the present and the past of the built environment with future projects in the form of the student creations. The human presence and the emergence of natural phenomena in the city are ultimately the principal components of the new city and architecture. At the Toyo University in Tokyo, Japan, creativity and innovation are the main goals of the Sugamo workshop, with the participation of students who have nothing to do with architecture. Over a 3-day period, the students of the global studies get an intense taste and experience of the architectural thinking and process. The enthusiasm and the exceptionally positive response to the engagement in experimental methodologies enrich the process of creating innovative spatial and urban proposals for the neglected commercial neighborhood of Sugamo known for its use by mainly elderly people. The alternative and successful results of the workshop proved eloquently the effectiveness of the interdisciplinary collaboration in the field of architecture. Then dream-like educational trips are an important part of student activities. Students reach out to many destinations aiming at gaining knowledge and experience, the acquisition of which assumes their necessary departure from their comfort zone. The contact with the other is also an important necessary process in the field of architectural education. In addition to visits to cities and buildings, architectural projects, exhibitions, and other creations, the contact with other students and tutors, series of discussions, socializing, delving into excursions, etc., contribute to the development of the students' critical thinking and skills. The interdisciplinary methodology of architectural education is integrated into the curriculum of the department from the beginning of the studies of the new students. The theme of the first semester is an urban feast, Glendy, which not only theoretically and academically produces, but also essentially takes place, is choreographed within a celebratory, optimistic, and festive environment of the evolution of the city and architecture. The first acquaintances with perceptions and concepts of spatial relations are conducted with through interactive social and cultural games, including dance workshops run by the head of the department of our university, Dara Milovanovic. This is how the critical approach, the creativity, but also the necessary revisiting and reversal of our perceptions about human topographies and relationships begins. The students reconsider also their relationships with the space, objects, surfaces, light, and time. Respectively, the students are invited to understand, respond, and take part in current social issues through interactive workshops, choreographed kinesthetic experiences in the buffer zone of Lidra Palace and the House of Cooperation retrofits the insights of the young people with fresh perceptions of social and environmental sensitivities in relation to the growing problems and crises of our current times. In less than a month of studies, the students were invited to create proposals at the Buffer Fringe Festival of Performing Arts of the Home of Cooperation, curated by Elada Vangelou. They presented them in front of an audience. The result was amazing, which facilitated and at the same time enforced them to tackle with practical issues of construction as well as theoretical, social, and environmental issues. The theme of their project, the Urban Feast Glendy, invites students to perform a creative and enjoyable workshop such as a simple picnic. Their experimental and critical observations lead to proposal installations in the city, such as the Sushila. Interdisciplinary academic group from abroad attends the presentations, discusses, proposes, and opens horizons to the students. Through a series of workshops on gender studies, our second-year students of the Studio Human Topography's Emerging Identities opened up new perspectives on the interrelationship of social and environmental issues. This process was greatly facilitated by Elena Vasiliou, a friend and a PhD candidate on queer theories. As a result, the collaboration of Haris and Tatiana in their proposal for the International Architecture Competition for an LGBT center in Uganda, with exceptional environmental and social innovations, won the third international prize, competing with senior students and graduates of the most significant schools of architecture in the world. To conclude, even the final exams are conducted as an essential component of the Urban Feast Glendy theme, where in a festive atmosphere and installation, the students present their projects to large numbers of visitors, including international academics. Now I would like to give the webinar's podium to my colleague Michalis Georgiou to continue. Thank you for me.
Hello, everyone. My name is Michalis Georgiou. I'm an assistant professor in the Department of Architecture of the University of Nicosia in the field of digital design and fabrication. Following the presentations of my colleagues, I will talk about technology in architecture and specifically about applications of digital design and fabrication for the built environment. In particular, I will start by introducing the subject of technology in architecture. Then we will talk about teaching digital design and fabrication at the University of Nicosia. And finally, a selected series of awarded research projects will be presented, which have been constructed in Cyprus and abroad. We will start by explaining the importance of technology for architecture. Historically, architecture has always been interweaved with technology. Architecture expresses the events, the way of life, and the technology of each society. The complexity and intelligence with which cities and buildings of the past were built present a measure of the development and progress of civilizations. We could, for example, refer to the Dome of Santa Maria del Fiore in Florence, which was realized in part thanks to complex structural calculations enabled by Renaissance mathematics. Or respectively, we could talk about elaborate visual corrections that were applied to the classical temples of ancient Greece, aiming at optimizing the aesthetic result. Such techniques were made possible because of the advancements in geometric methods and tools of the classical era. Technological advances in architecture could be categorized in the following areas: new materials, new methods or manufacturing processes, new perceptions, theories, tools, and design principles, new programmatic requirements for almost every area of the human activity. Today, we perceive an increased complexity in our everyday lives, which is directly translated in new requirements for the built environment, which is constantly called to respond to the demands of the digital era. It is therefore understood that architecture without technology could remain stagnant and insufficient to meet the requirements of contemporary societies. Technological progress presents a key prerequisite for the development of architecture and is therefore an integral part of an architect's education. The programs of the Department of Architecture at the University of Nicosia include a series of courses related to technology in design to sufficiently equip future architects and interior designers. As such, we have 3 compulsory and 3 elective courses related to the subject. Very recently, due to the rapid developments in the field, we have introduced a new distance learning master's program in computational design and digital fabrication in collaboration with the University of Innsbruck in Austria. Teaching in these courses, among others, focuses on 2 key areas of technology in architecture today: digital design and digital fabrication. Digital design investigates new perceptions, theories, tools, and principles of design enabled by computers. While digital fabrication emphasizes on new materials, methods, and manufacturing processes supported by contemporary CNC technologies. A dedicated digital fabrication laboratory is situated at the department, equipped with a CNC, 3D printers, and a large open-type laser cutting machine. The workshop is operated by experienced staff, whom you can see here in action. The team supervises and provides guidance to students for using the equipment for their projects, while also participating in research and other academic activities. The department also maintains a computer lab, hosting all technology-related courses. The lab is fully equipped with cutting-edge CAD and design software. Through teaching, students become familiar with the field of digital design while acquiring the necessary knowledge and skills to express their creativity. In parallel, they have the ability to apply digital fabrication techniques while experimenting with advanced CNC equipment, such as laser cutting machines to create their models, or 3D printers to represent complex geometries. The digital courses output is often published, receiving international exposure and sometimes recognition, such as this work, which was inspired by the historic symbols found on the island of Cyprus for the creation of three-dimensional 3D printed tiles. Elective courses and specialized workshops offer the opportunity to experiment with unique subjects that are not expanded in the curriculum, such as this course that focused on robotics. Here, for example, you can see a robotic arm expressing its artistic talent. While here, we can see a student project exploring kinetic systems for architecture. Just yesterday, we have concluded the first part of yet another innovative elective course. The intensive workshop focused on virtual reality with the aim to create an online end-of-year exhibition to enable showcasing this year's student work, which would have been otherwise impossible due to the pandemic. You can experience the preview on the department's website. Our students are also encouraged to experiment with larger scale structures, such as the assembly of the Christmas tree, which has become an annual tradition for the department. Or this uniquely themed international summer workshop in collaboration with the AA School of Architecture in London and the Cyprus Architects Association, where floating escape devices were fabricated and tested to be used in case of an emergency. In addition to teaching, a significant part of our academic activities is devoted to research and innovation. These activities are mainly focused on real-scale experimental structures, often called pavilions. Students are involved in various phases of the design and fabrication process, from concept to realization. Such structures are usually enabled through participation in international design competitions or open calls, and the department lists a significant number of awards and realized projects to date. Due to the limited time, we can only refer to some of these structures in this last part of the presentation. COTSAI is perhaps the first major international recognition of the department in the field. The international design competition hosted by a charity foundation in Toronto, Canada, called for proposals on the thematic of affordable housing. A series of second-year student ideas were submitted as part of the digital design and fabrication courses. One of the proposals was shortlisted to the final phase of the competition, which required the realization of the pavilion in Toronto, Canada. After a 2-month intensive development of the initial idea in Cyprus, faculty and students traveled to Toronto with the pavilion, which was assembled for the exhibition and final jury in a period of less than 2 days. The proposal was awarded the first prize, selected among well-known universities and architectural firms. Another international design competition offered the opportunity for yet another pavilion titled Bloom. The competition was based in Cyprus within the framework and activities of the European Capital of Culture, Paphos 2017. After the submission of numerous international proposals, 8 of them were awarded and selected for realization. Bloom was one of them. Faculty and students of the University of Nicosia, in collaboration with the University of Frederick, participated in the construction phase. The innovation of the idea was based on a theoretical assumption that the complex structure could be assembled flat on the ground and then bent manually in its final form. A proof of concept was achieved, and Bloom remained on public exhibition for way longer than its initial specified lifespan. Another significant international accomplishment was recorded with a pavilion titled "Get High Without Drugs" at the Westminster University in London as part of the FabFest International Design Competition in 2017. A group of students worked over the summer for their development of the proposal and traveled to London for its digital fabrication and assembly. The pavilion, made out of cardboard with reflective interiors, was awarded the first prize in the digital fabrication category for its originality among well-known universities and architectural firms. Finally, I would like to refer to our most recent accomplishment titled the XMAX. The project was realized as part of the new distance learning master program in computational design and digital fabrication in collaboration with the University of Innsbruck in Austria. As part of the program, students from around the world are required to travel to Cyprus and Austria for 2 weeks to participate in digital and robotic fabrication workshops. Our last workshop during the fall semester was hosted in Cyprus and focused on metal sheet forming using digital fabrication technologies. The students, in collaboration with the faculty, designed, fabricated, and assembled the XMAX that doubled as the main Christmas tree of the University of Nicosia. XMAX was later donated to the municipality of Nicosia to become part of the Christmas decoration at Freedom Square, where it will remain as a permanent design installation open to the public. Thank you very much for your attention, and if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to send them through so we can answer them at the end. I would like now to introduce my colleague, Dr. Kika Ioannou Gazamia, to continue with her presentation.
Good evening. Good evening for me too. I am Kika Ioannou Gazamia, an associate professor in the Department of Architecture of the University of Nicosia. I am an interior designer and I teach in the program of interior design. So I will talk about design. What do we think when we hear this term? Design is included in a wide array of applied arts. Design means organizing. The presentation consists of 3 parts. First, the interior design profession, then the program of interior design at the University of Nicosia, and finally some samples of students' work and activities. Starting with the profession of interior design. As Pyle notes, interior design is the study that outlines all the decisions that determine how a space will be. Further, according to Cyprus Interior Design Association, the interior designer is the person who undertakes the study and architectural design of the interior of an existing or proposed building, aiming at a more efficient, more functional and aesthetically pleasing layout, according to the range of human activities. Further, in 1983, the International Organization of Interior Designers published the definition of an interior designer, noting that a professional interior designer is the person who, after training and experience, is qualified to recognize, research, and creatively solve problems relevant with the operation and quality of the indoor environment, to perform indoor services, including analysis, program, space aesthetics, design and inspection, using specialist knowledge of construction, systems, regulations, equipment, materials, and furniture. Also to prepare plans and papers on the study of indoor space in order to improve the quality of life and to protect the health and safety of the public. The program of interior design at the University of Nicosia. During the development of the program, the guidelines of the European Council of Interior Designers and the Pan-European Harmonization of Educational System, ECTS, were introduced. The purpose of the program is to educate graduates who are socially active, aesthetically and environmentally sensitive professionals, technically capable, love art and humans, respect civilization and human needs, know the social and historical background, able to translate these needs into strategies for effective solutions through a logical and structural process. The center of studies is the design studio. Some of the topics include residence, retail, office, restaurant, coffee shop, exhibition, area, and hotel design. The studio is enhanced with a group of other courses that belong to various cognitive areas like technology, design and communication, professional practice, history, and theory. As far as the career prospect, the interior designer who acquired the title of Bachelor of Art in Interior Design can work as a freelancer, as an employee in an interior design or architecture office, as a consultant or partner in a store of furniture, kitchens, building or finishing materials, sanitary ware, etc. Some samples of student works and activities. So we are looking at first year work related to design principles and the relationship between the senses and space. Works from the furniture design course that provides students with real-world design and construction knowledge. From the course of Sustainability in Interior Design, which examines the environmental problems associated with design and analyze the concept of sustainability as an essential part of the professional's responsibility. In a project during year 3, students are researching the retail environment in Cyprus. How is it differs from other retail environments? What are its characteristics? How it is affected by the globalization of the market, but also issues that concern the local community. This knowledge allows them to formulate conditions that create a framework for excellence and appropriate design. The social role of the interior designer is a priority for the program and our students. Issues such as homeless centers, temporary accommodation during times of crisis, but also exhibition spaces and office spaces are some of the many topics that are treated with sensitivity. This is a final year project where students suggest an open space installation that will safely host activities for children and adults. The installation of the facility was based on the research of the student, in which he recorded the frequency and intensity of pedestrian traffic. The research findings determined the dimensions and size of the installation. The Department of Architecture of the University of Nicosia and Krohe have started a collaboration with the Krohe Design Series. The program was being introduced by Krohe to reward creative design among university students in the field of interior design, multimedia, architecture, and graphic design. The competition focused on designing a spa with a local cultural reference. Furthermore, in the competition of the Pan-Cypriot Architectural Heritage Organization, our student Aris Violaris won the third prize after competing with other students and young professionals. The concept of the competition was the study of the interior design industry in the 21st century and the interior space that changes in many ways. What is needed today is the use of methods that conform to the principles of social, economic, and ecological sustainability. Innovation in the interior design space is the main subject of discussion, and sustainable design in combination with the use of traditional value-creating methods are the main axes around which the designer must create. In addition, the interior design program, in collaboration with the Pan-Cyprian Organization for the Promotion of Literacy and the support of Gyan Trading, planned the promotion of literacy at Magarios Hospital in Nicosia. Students were asked to help with a design proposal to renovate the waiting area of the outpatient clinic that will enhance and promote literacy among visitors. The proposals were developed as part of the studio with a group of third and fourth year students. The students participated in the project with the aim of promoting literacy in a hospital setting. The interest focused on a very sensitive group of our society, the children. Students used specific principles to promote the inclusion of visitors, patients, and staff in a socially interactive environment. They submitted their final proposals, and the team of the parties involved decided to proceed with the merger of specific data from each proposal, as all were highly valued. The project has been completed. The students were awarded by the organizers for their participation and contribution, and the inauguration of the space took place at the end of last year. This is the end of my presentation. Markela will give you now information to contact us and time to ask questions. Thank you.
Hello again. Thank you to all my colleagues for the very, very interesting presentations. We now have some time to answer a few of your questions, so please do post them on the live chat. In the meantime, up on screen, we can see our personal email addresses. Please feel free to contact us should you have any queries or questions. Additionally, you can visit our department website, where you can find a lot more exciting student work and faculty research. For any general inquiries regarding studying in our university or the admissions procedures, please contact the admissions department at the University of Nicosia. So, would any of my colleagues like to add something at this point? We'll give some more time for questions. Jorgo, would you like to start?
Yes, let's talk about the current condition. I think it's more than ever, it's becoming very, very obvious and strongly felt that the field of architecture and interior design is becoming so important in our lives due to the pandemic. And it seems that the lucky ones were the ones that live in a nice environment, because we are locked down for some long period, but there is more to come. Therefore, I'm not talking pessimistically about it, but rather optimistically that it's time for us to rethink about our living conditions and environments, how we can improve them. So I believe strongly that architecture and interior design are not something that concern architects and specialists in those fields, but rather concerns everyone. So yes, in these times of pandemics and big crisis, it seems like many people are appalled from studying or dealing with architecture. However, I would really argue that it's time for us to put it as a priority, since we may stay living in such conditions for more than we're expecting to. So let's think optimistically about our future with nice environments to live in.
Thank you, Jorgo. Michali, would you like to maybe repeat a couple of words about our exhibition?
Yes, we are happy to announce and sad at the same time that our end of year exhibition will unfortunately, or cannot unfortunately, happen as past years, but we are glad to introduce our new virtual end of year exhibition. If you visit our website, you can see the first preview. The final exhibition will be released end of June, and you can visit all our work produced through the year, basically through your computers, or if you own a VR headset, you can be immersed literally in our building and have the experience of the work produced from the architects and interior designers, future ones.
Fantastic. We're really looking forward to that. Would anyone else like to say something? Okay, so I don't think we have any questions at the moment. So I think we've reached the end of our webinar. We've exceeded our time anyway. So I would like to thank everyone once again for joining us. We really do hope that we can meet you face to face as soon as possible. So have a good evening, everyone. Take care, and bye from us.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.